Bonjour, Kinamagi Nene Ireland Indigenous, and welcome to this production of the My Math Network. Today's lesson, Chapter 11, Lesson 8, display measurement data on a line plot. We'll begin by looking at our previous session's work. And this was converting capacity measures. Found out 16 cups, 2 cups at a pint, so it's 8 pints. Fluid ounces, there's 8 fluid ounces in a cup, so we divided by 8 and get 8 cups. Quarts to gallons, we divide by 4, so we had 1 gallon with a remainder of 1 quart. Quarts to gallons here, we had 4 quarts with 2 quarts left over, but they didn't give you a line, so you're going to use the fraction, which is 4 2/4, which is 4.5 or 4.5. Cups to pints, divide by 2, get 3.5 pints. A pint in a cup, you're going to multiply by 2, 33 cups. Which contains the greatest amount and the least, purple and blue. Cook needs to use a measuring cup to obtain 1.5 pints of milk. That's 3 cups. Cups would be the most appropriate customary use of a hot chocolate. I guess if you have a hot chocolate mug that's a gallon, yeah, just don't. I think you'd have a little too much sugar there, too much chocolate. What would be the most appropriate customary unit to measure the capacity of a swimming pool? Gallons. Please, gallons. Do you really want to measure that many pints? Have fun. And capacity is the measure of how much a container can hold. Weight happens to be the kind of mass and gravity together here. It's 45 3/4 gallons. Looking at the work today, we're going to be creating line plots or dot plots, and being able to interpret them. So you have over here, you're going to use 2 and 3, and finding the fair share, we'll talk about in just a moment. You're going to make a line plot on number 3. What's the fair share? Use your math tools. And then a couple multiple choice. The best way to complete this assignment will be the paper copy. If you do number 3, you're going to want to take a picture and send it to me, or hold it up during Zoom. It's going to be really difficult to create a Google form for that one. So yeah, there won't be one. You're just going to have to tell it to me. All right, so let's get into the lesson. The essential question remains, how can I use measurement conversions to solve real-world problems? I'm going to start in the part that's not in the book. What information can I get from a line plot? Well, and you, by the way, remember that we've heard these referred to as dot plots in the previous sessions. But I can tell that from whatever we're dealing with here, the largest numbers are 2 and 4. And the smallest are 3 and 5. Find the fair share of the lengths of fish shown. So we got 3, 6. That's right up here. You add them all together. And if you add 1 and 2 is 3, plus 9 is 12, 13, plus, I missed one here. 16. Oh, that's 4. You get 36 6. 36 divided by 6 is 6. There was a total of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So 6 divided by 10, 3/5 or 6/10 is going to be the fair share. So your average. Use capacity is shown to create a line plot in gallons. So what you do is you start saying ounce of water in quarts. So essentially, you take this and put it over because this is referencing gallons. So we start out with there's a 2, and I got a 3 and another 3. I'm just going across. Then we have another 3, a 2, and a 2, a 1, a 3, and another 1. I could add them together. So we have going over a quarter. You can have 8, 12, 15, 16, 20. Four, which is 5, yeah, that's 5 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5 ninths. Oops. Really? Technology has not been my friend today. You see how they did it? 5 ninths of a gallon is the fair share. Essentially your average. Remember, another word for average is mean, and not how you treat someone, but what you mean. All right, so go ahead and open up your text to 845. That's the lesson 8 packet. Just as a reminder, I expect that you'd fill this in as we go. That way you have an artifact to look back on when you complete the assignment. And whenever I'm about to clear the screen, I will tell you that, and that gives you about a second or two to pause the video if you need to. So example basic, 6 friends shared several foot-long submarine sandwiches. Table shows the amount each friend ate. Make a line plot of the lengths in the table. So first, the quarter appears how many times? 1 and 2. 1/3 appears how many times? 1, 2, and 3. And half. So only one had the 1/6 inch. So you have a 2, a 3, and a 1. So essentially, all I did was count the number of times each one showed up. Let's go ahead and write those down. 2/4, 3/3, and 1/2. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pause or clear the video. Screen, I should say, not the video. Thrown off by alarm clocks that are going off. So you saw our numbers were good. Now we want to add that data to the line plot. Remember, we had 2 that were at a quarter. So each one is represented by a dot. There were 3 that were 1/3. And I try to line them up. I'm not always great at that. And 1 that was at a half. Notice nobody ate 0 and nobody ate a foot long. So now I've added it to my plot and it's right in here. So go ahead and put those dots that you see. 2/4, 3/3, and 1/2. I know in the directions they said an X. I use dots quite often because it's a dot plot, but it is okay if you use an X, not going to be a problem. I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen. You can find the fair share or the amount each friend would receive if the sandwiches were divided equally. Add the measurements to find the whole, then divide the whole by the number of measurements. So we're going to use the same data. 1/2 plus 1 plus a half equals 2 whole sandwiches. Those 2/4, the 3/3, and then the 1/2. So go ahead and write the 2 in. I'm going to clear that screen. To divide the total amount, you can draw a model. You can, but you don't have to be honest. Each piece represents 1/3 of a sandwich. So if the sandwiches were divided equally, each person would have eaten a third. So you see our 2 sandwiches divided by 6, and that's 1/3. When you're doing the actual assignment, you only need the bar graph if told to. Otherwise, it's up to you. Like you could say, okay, 2 divided by 3 is like 2 times 1/3, or 2 divided by 6, 2 times 1/6, 2 6, which equals 1/3. I'm gonna move forward. Let's do a little guided practice, make a line plot, and then find the fairest share. So what do we want to have our lines? We want to have 0. Nothing's over 1, so let's put a 1 here. And we have quarters and halves. So let's put a quarter. Let's put a half. And let's put 3/4, even though we're not going to use it. So I have a quarter, another quarter, another quarter. Then I have 3 straight 1/2s. Another quarter and a half. So now let's add it together. I have 4 quarters, which is 1, and 4 halves, which is 2. So I'm going to have 3, and it's going to be divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my fair share is 3/8 of a gallon. Go ahead and write that in. Let's move forward. I'm going to clear the screen. Let's see, we did good. Grab a situation in everyday life in which you'd want to find a fair share. Anytime you're sharing something, it really could be a good choice. Like who had more, making sure everything's even. All right, I want you to do this one, number 2. What we'll do is we're going to practice with numbers 2 and 3, and we'll show it and then we'll talk about it. Remember, when figuring out the work, you're going to pause the video. You're going to want to set up your number line. And this one definitely between 0 and 1, because that's where your range of numbers are. And then find the fair share of these 12 different measurements. Go ahead and pause the video. I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. 5/12 of a foot. So we ended up a total of 5 feet divided by 12, 5/12. Notice there was no 1s, there were no 0s, 4 quarters, 3/3, 3 halves, and 2 3/4. Totaling grand total of 5 feet. All right, let's go and do one more, number 3. You're going to see now that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. And we're looking at quarts. Go ahead and pause the video. Let's see on the other side. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. 1/3 of a quart. You see we had 2 groups, 2 measurements of 1/8. 3 of a quarter. And altogether, this is going to be a 1. It's 3/4 and 1/4. And then we have 4 of a half. So we're going to have 3 total. Divided by 9 is 3/9, which simplifies into 1/3. All right, at this point, you're going to move into the assignment. If you get stuck, please reach out. There are also some good videos on Khan Academy, one of which was assigned recently in one of our other sections. So you can find that pretty simply. You're going to use the homework helper up here to do numbers 1 and 2. And make your own line plot on number 3 to find the fair share. Then number 5, you're going to explain your answer. 6 and 7 are multiple choice. Look forward to seeing how well you do. If you have any questions, reach out to me at mireland@sagchipschool.net. Otherwise, Bama P.